Hey everyone, Paul Johnson from Waconia, Minnesota, and also part of the Laughing Trout Fly Tying Club. Today I'm retying a Lund's Loco Beetle. So this is a custom fly from Lund's Fly Shop in River Falls, Wisconsin. So it's a kind of an interesting tie. So we'll get through it here. Simple materials. It's tied on a size 14 Montana Fly Company streamer hook. It's a 7026 2XL long nymph or streamer hook, size 14. The belly or the bottom and the top are both Loco Foam, and that's where it gets the name, the Loco Beetle, and this is an oil slick pattern. It does have a wing of some white Congo hair, any poly yarn, round rubber legs, and then a ribbing of dubbing, which is super bright peacock dubbing. So just a couple interesting steps of how this thing comes together. So get this hook and vise, size 14, Montana Fly Company streamer hook. I've got a spool of 14-aught black thread. Any black thread will work just fine on this. You want to probably have black thread though. Start my tying thread, get it back to the bend of the hook. The body is Loco Foam, so it's a 2mm foam with a sheeting of this Loco. I don't know what it would actually be, but the pattern's oil slick. So I cut this out with a cutter from River Road Creations. We're going to tie it in with the shiny side down because we'll bend it over, and just tie it in with this little tab. This stuff isn't really very tough, so you do got to be very careful tying it in. It seems like it's easy to cut it with your tying thread and actually tear it. Now here's one interesting thing. What I wanted when I tied this fly is the bottom is the same Loco Foam, which I'll get to next, but I can't create any volume on the bottom of the fly. It affects the hook gap, but I want the top to have more volume. So what I did is I took just a scrap piece of 2mm foam, and I'm going to tie that on top of the hook shank, and I'll just go from the front of the hook to the back of the hook, leaving these little bubbles, if you will. And so when I end up folding that foam over, that'll give that fly just a little bit more volume. Now the underneath part of it is the same Loco Foam, so I cut it in a strip. But what I had to do is carve most of the foam away from the back again, because I don't want to create any volume on the bottom of the fly. So with my rotary feature, turn my hook around. It's a little bit tricky. You got to do a little pinch of that foam, get your thread around it, and then avoid the hook point all at the same time. So get one more wrap in here. Okay. Now I'm just going to retrace my thread wraps through those bubbles, if you will. And then again, I'll pinch it here in the front and then secure it in place with a couple wraps of tying thread. Come underneath and trim that excess off. Now, with this, you really got to super glue this fly together. You just get this tied in a little bit better. Try to get my thumbs out of the way. So you got this belly, if you will, and I want to get a little bit of super glue in there just to hold that in place. So just take a little bit of super glue on my bodkin. And then squeeze it. I'll come back and squeeze that again, make sure it's set. A little bit on this side and kind of squeeze that together. And then I need just a little bit more super glue on my bodkin for the body itself. So gotta be a little bit patient, let that set up just a little bit. Okay, that's looking good. And I'll apply just a little bit of super glue right on top of the, and I'll pull that Beetle body forward couple wraps, squeeze it together, set that glue. And then I want to build just a little bit of a base here because I have to do wings and legs in there all at the same time. So that's what it should look like. Got a little clump of white poly yarn. I'll tie it in on my side. Get 4 or 5, 6 really tight wraps of thread in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tag end and pull it around the side of the hook and then form the leg on the other side. And then I'll cut that off so it's just a little bit longer than the body itself. And then I've got some black round rubber legs. I'll tie one in on my side and then one on the far side. So what I do, zoom out just a little bit here, is I take that rubber leg, trap it under my finger over the thread, and then I can grab the tag ends and then put it right in place. And then one more wrap there, 2 more wraps. And then I'll do the same thing on the far side. I'll just pinch it in under my finger, the thread, and then I can put it right in place where I want it. All right, now what we have to do is we have to convince these legs and these wings that they have to get along because they tend to want to fight each other and not cooperate. Okay, now we're just gonna form a noodle with this super bright dubbing in the color peacock. I don't know if I mentioned that when I was going through the materials. And we'll just clean up where we tied in those legs and the wings. Now I'm going to come underneath a couple wraps and then I'll do some half hitches underneath the front part of the beetle, the head of the beetle. All right, now I can cut off my thread and then I'll just do a little bit of trimming here. I'll trim the head of this beetle back a little bit and then even up my legs front and back. And again, we got to get these the legs and the wings to convince them that they need to get along. So there it is, the Lund's Loco Beetle. And you can see we maintain a reasonable space between the body, the underbody, and the hook gap. Much better than if you just couldn't do that full 2 millimeter foam underneath that hook and still maintain any type of a hook gap. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.